Anya Aurelia Galeria Lucilla, more popularly known simply as Lucilla, is a figure whose story has been a topic of much interest amongst historians and academic circles for centuries now. And as the eldest daughter of the formidable Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, Lucilla lived a life steeped in privilege, power, and politics from a young age. And at 16 years of age, her influence would grow exponentially as she would marry the co-emperor of Rome, Lucius Verus, and become the Empress of the Roman Empire. And while her early years reflected the grandeur of imperial Rome, her later life and death would be defined by political intrigue, familial betrayal, and a tragic downfall. Once regarded as a prominent figure in the imperial court, Lucilla would ultimately meet her end in an exile marked by humiliation, doubt, and despair. But what led to her tragic demise? How did a woman born to the most powerful family in the empire find herself condemned to death? By examining the ancient sources that chronicle her last days, we will uncover the dramatic events that sealed the fate of Lucilla and cemented her legacy as one of Rome's most tragic and controversial figures. But before we begin, don't forget, if you want to learn more about the deaths of some of history's greatest figures, then subscribe to my channel, Historical Exit. As was previously mentioned, Lucilla was the daughter of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the last of what is remembered as the Five Good Emperors, and the wife of Lucius Verus as well, who was co-emperor of Rome alongside her father. But thanks to the movie Gladiator, she is most well remembered to history today as the sister of Emperor Commodus. And it would be the descent between these two siblings that would lead to her eventual death at the young age of 33. Lucilla had been the Empress of the Roman Empire since she was 16, as she took control of the majority of the administration and day-to-day tasks of running an empire while her husband and father would be away on campaigns. However, after her husband Lucius Verus passed away, followed a few years later by the passing of her father, Lucilla would go from being Empress and one of the most influential and important individuals in the empire to a royal with limited political sway and influence when her brother Commodus took the throne. And I'm sure, as many of you are already aware, Commodus is remembered as one of the worst emperors of the Roman Empire, and he was slowly leading the nation to its decline with his excesses and depravity. So it should come as no surprise that Lucilla, who has struggled and sacrificed greatly to ensure the prosperity of the Roman Empire during her time as Empress, could not bear the thought of her manic brother destroying the foundations of everything she worked so hard to develop and grow. Therefore, Lucilla would conspire with a number of other powerful Romans, including her nephew Quintanius, the Praetorian prefect Publius Patrinus, her daughter Plautia, and former consul Marcus Annianus, to devise a plan to assassinate the emperor, her little brother Commodus. Cassius Dio highlights in book 73 of his works, The Roman History, how Lucilla planned to have her brother killed and why this assassination plot ended up failing. Lucilla, who was not pleased at having her brother reign instead of herself, formed a plot against him, and after organizing a conspiracy, she sent assassins to murder him. One of these, Quintanius, approached him with a dagger as he was entering the theater and said, "Here is the dagger the Senate sends you." But instead of striking him at once, he delayed a moment, and so was seized and slain. Cassius Dio, a contemporary of the events he is depicting, paints a vivid picture on how Lucilla devised a very effective assassination plot, considering how close the conspirator got to the emperor. But the plan ultimately ended up in failure due to Quintanius announcing his blow rather than striking at the emperor when he had a chance, allowing enough time for the Praetorian Guard accompanying Commodus to capture, torture for information, and eventually kill Quintanius. Eventually, all the conspirators in the plot would be imprisoned, and Lucilla's involvement and orchestration of the assassination plot would come to the forefront, with Cassius Dio stating that after the conspirators had been arrested, Commodus learned that Lucilla had been the instigator of the plot. Torture of those involved revealed her part in the scheme. Commodus did not at once put her to death, but instead exiled her to the island of Capri, allowing her to live for a time before ultimately ordering her execution. From the above quote by Cassius Dio, it would seem that Commodus showed some restraint and perhaps he did not harbor as much enmity towards Lucilla as she did towards him. And Commodus would allow his sister and her daughter to live in exile on the island of Capri. But Commodus was a suspicious and paranoid individual by nature, and it appears that he was unable to move past the political machinations of Lucilla and her involvement in his failed assassination attempt. And later on, he would send a centurion to the island of Capri shortly after her exile, where Lucilla alongside her daughter would be executed. Unfortunately though, Cassius Dio nor any other contemporary Roman historian comments on the exact method of execution for Lucilla, but it is plausible that she was executed by beheading, which was the most common form of capital punishment for royal family members. So it is evident from the contemporary historical sources we have available to ascertain that Lucilla was indeed sent into exile, where she would be later executed in some unverifiable manner on the orders of her brother, Emperor Commodus. Lucilla was one of the most powerful, influential, and politically astute individuals of her time, and one of the most important women in Roman history. But her bid to further her own political ambitions and to save the Roman populace from the depravity of her brother, she would end up leading an assassination plot that would ultimately result in her own death at the end. So, I hope you found this video to be interesting and educational, and if you did enjoy it, please do like this video and share it with others, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, Historical Exit, so you can learn more about the deaths of some of history's greatest figures. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye!